Hello, my name's Marcia Hampton. Welcome to this edition of Legislative Post. Today with me, I have my successor as the Community and Development Services Director, Mr. Jonathan Lynn. Welcome, Jonathan.
Hello, good to be here.
So good to have you here. I know for some of the folks out there who have either followed me or know me that I've been a longtime employee with the city of Douglasville. I kind of, at the last couple years, serving in two roles, which was Community and Development Services Director, which was a combined position from Community and Downtown Services and Development Services. So now you wear the entire hat. So how does it feel?
Getting acclimated. It's a change, but it's a good change. Everyone's been very helpful.
Yeah, and I know that it's a different role from other local governments. Talk to us a little bit about your background and how you've served in the development services role in your career.
Sure. I was very fortunate. Probably about 8 years ago, I was able to be the Community Improvement Director for the city of Waycross, which was kind of a little bit of what I do here now. There, as opposed to, having fire marshal duties, which I had there, now you have tourism here. There you had code enforcement. Here you have the conference center. So everybody's a little bit different, but overall, you're looking at planning and zoning. You're looking at GIS, building permits, inspections, and that sort of thing's pretty consistent.
All right, and you've been with us about 60 days?
Right about 60 days.
Right
about 60 days almost, yeah.
So, and I know, earlier at another point, I interviewed Tia Alston, our new HR director. You guys kind of started around the same time, and I asked her the same question. So, how has your experience been this first 60 days? Oh, that's quiet. Is that good or is that bad?
No, just trying to come up with the correct word.
Yeah.
It's been good.
Good.
It's been dynamic. It flows. Every day is a little bit different. You kind of, with every new city, you're going to start trying to understand the game,
right?
The players. What issues you have, because no two cities are ever going to be the same. No two departments are ever going to be the same. But it's good getting to know everyone, knowing who you need to reach out to for certain things is always good. And I think that's kind of been the majority of it for the first 60 days. Understanding my department. The people that work with me and for me and that sort of thing. But it's been good. Every day is a different adventure.
Every day is a different. Well, and I think that's local government in general. Yes. Every day is a different day, as we try to say.
Right. Yeah. You never know what the day is going to hold.
You just don't.
Schedule your meetings first thing in the morning.
That's right. That's right. So, in your prior two career experiences in local government, you've been with Waycross and you've been with Woodstock. Talk to us a little bit about how different those cities are from us, and what are some advantages that you find now within your first 60 days that we have.
Well, actually, in between the two, there was Tybee.
Oh, that's right. There was Tybee. I don't want to forget that.
Can't forget the little gem on the coast. But every city's different. A lot of cities will have the same issues. It's just they all handle them differently. Between Waycross and Tybee, you had the same issues. At the time, that's when the economy kind of took a turn to where it became the new normal. So there, you start going from new permits for building to everyone wanting to request a variance, which in the planning and zoning world is not how you want to address everything.
Right.
But then, I got that experience for a couple of years. It was great. It's different world there. Being such a small community of right about 3,000, but ballooning to over 30,000 during summer days. So you had a capacity issue there. And then going to Woodstock, which is a great place. I recommend anyone get a chance to visit there. But it's at its capacity. There really is no room for expansion. So you don't have a lot of new players coming into the game. You just you're kind of able to deal with what's there and what's going on, which is one reason that I was attracted to the potential of possibility of working in Douglasville. It's such a place where a lot of things are gonna happen. Not will they happen? They are gonna happen. There's a lot of room for growth, a lot of development potential, and a lot of stuff that's already in place that will attract people to Douglasville, and I look forward to continuing that.
And as you look forward, when you with your background and the knowledge that you have, what are some of the things that you hope to accomplish within your first 12 months here?
Oh well, that's a big undertaking. But some of the big things is I want to continue having our community development team that focuses on downtown to continue to attract businesses. We have a very vibrant downtown, and we want to make sure that continues. We do have a lot of big developments that have recently opened up shop here in Douglasville, and we have several more that are actually looking at the area. We want to make sure that we have everything in place internally where we can allow them to come in, everything smooth, everything from their applying for permits to submitting their development plans, making sure that they get everything they need from our team. In addition to that, we want to make sure that people know that our community development team, community and development services, can handle just about everything that you need within the city. We want to be that one-stop shop to where we want to come in and meet with staff and know that we have these these things we need to address, and they walk out with no feeling that something's trying to be put over on them.
Gotcha.
That the city is giving them everything they need. We also want to market what we have. We have a regional mall. We have a lot of shopping. We're kind of on the outskirts of what would be considered the metro area.
Right.
But at that same time, we're so close to the metro area that everything is kind of blending together, and we want to continue that push.
Yeah, definitely. And I know, one of the challenges we've always had, and probably honestly will continue to have, is that just our citizen base feels as though they're very suburban, and but they want to be urban, but not with what comes with urbanism, as you would say. And I think that that's okay. You want to take advantage of what's there in Atlanta, but you also want to keep your small town feel. And I think that that's a plus, being able to have someone with a strong development services background, because we do have some challenges ahead of us in redevelopment. Talk to us a little bit about where do you feel the city should go in those directions, specifically as it relates to the redevelopment of some of our corridors like Highway 92.
Oh, I think we have our Highway 92 project that is fully underway with the help of GDOT, and we want to make sure that once that's in place, that we put everything in place from a staff level to ensure that any areas around there that can be redeveloped, they get the maximum benefit from that. There are several sites in and around downtown that we've already looked at for redevelopment, opportunities, whether it be for a mixed use area, have a park, some shops and some affordable type housing down here so that we can attract more people to the downtown area. We want to make sure that these projects are not seen as something that that's not going to be marketed toward the normal people. We want people to stay in Douglasville. We don't want them to move. You may work in the metro area outside of Douglasville, Douglas County. We want to make sure you're at home when you get here. We want to make sure that everything is geared toward that, whether it be a mom and pop type ice cream shop downtown, or a large scale distribution center over in the tributary area.
So if you can kind of in the short time that you've been here, if you take a look at the interchange from I-20 where Fairburn Road is following into the downtown, how do you envision that thoroughfare developing or redeveloping, I should say, and then ultimately how that affects what we consider as a central part of our downtown?
Well, you hate to say somewhere like that needs to be redeveloped, but you can see the development pattern that has taken place there over the years, and that's not a fault of anybody. There's just a changing world in development where you want to be able to almost reinvent the code. You don't want to get rid of the shops there, but as things happen and things change over, which is inevitable, you want to make sure that there's a consistency. That even if you're at Church Street in Fairburn Road or you're at Earl Lee in Fairburn Road, that there's a consistency between the two. That there's a consistency among the types of businesses that'll be there, the look of the signs. You're going to have sign regulations, or the parking lots are all going to look the same. That there is a consistency because that is your feeder into downtown Douglasville, and you want it to be attractive and you want it to be what people see. You don't want them to see something that may be unattractive or vacant property. That it turns them sour before they ever get to everything else. You all want it to be one Douglasville.
And considering that road from I-20 going into Paulding County is going to be rerouted around the downtown. I think we've talked about that on numerous occasions here locally, and then you add to the fact that it's going to be a 6-lane road in certain locations. What are going to be some of your active steps that you're going to implement internally within the department and be able to push out to the citizens to encourage that even though the traffic is going around downtown is still viable and still a place that folks need to come to, and it's still the center of town?
Well, it's all about marketing. You hate to say it, as technology's advanced, we need to push back and actually hit the street. We need to have our downtown businesses aware that we're going to make every effort to ensure that people still know downtown's here. Down the road, I would like to see from a departmental level, in the next budget year or thereafter, develop a better wayfinding signage program that's gets implemented about the same time that Highway 92 opens, so that although you're not going through downtown anymore, you know exactly how to find everything and something that's attractive. At a point like that, we also want to encourage citizen engagement. We just need to make sure the public's involved, residents and businesses, because they're all going to be impacted by Highway 92, and they need to make sure that the city is understanding where they're coming from and how we're going to make sure that we market them. And there's going to be other development opportunities that are going to come when Highway 92 goes in and everything's open, so we need to make sure that we are proactive in ensuring that we're getting the right things there, whether it's passive recreation or if it's, it's additional housing opportunities that could go there. So.
Which is good. Well, speaking of housing, I know that part of your department deals with the Georgia Initiative of Community Housing Program. We're into our second year. Talk to us about this last leg, I should say, of that program and where you see that moving forward even beyond when we graduate our third year.
Yeah, that's right. We do graduate. It sounds funny, but we will graduate from there at the end, almost this time next year.
Right.
The first year was kind of understanding what it is. The second year, we've had our community development team, get their committee together and be strong. We're actually planning a retreat in the August-September month, depending on weather. We want to go to other communities around metro area to see what they've done. Because what the program ultimately does is set you up for the future.
Right.
We want to make sure that they see that, say affordable housing. Just start there. That there's a stigma. Everybody thinks of affordable housing and you think of certain things. But go to Marietta, go to Smyrna, Ackworth, Alpharetta, and you see affordable housing that you wouldn't be able to pinpoint.
Right.
That's where we want to go in our third year, is to have those in place, know who our partners are and where we can move forward to. And it's kind of collaboration efforts, talking about redevelopment. The Douglasville Development Authority is looking at some redevelopment sites and incorporating all that together will be where we really want to go. That way, when we graduate and we move on, we can always report back on what we've done.
That's good. And I know that there are several Georgia cities that are in that program and have realized some really good success and that continue to work through the program even after they've graduated.
Correct. Yeah, and I've been fortunate enough to see it evolve. We actually in 2008 we had Waycross designated as a GET community, so you can kind of see how that goes. And it's not all about it. It is the initiative for community housing, but it's also about neighborhoods.
Right.
You don't want to spread your resources wide. You want to actually see if you can focus those. And you may have XYZ pot here and an XYZ pot there, so you want to look at doing community centers and parks, and then build it. Work on your housing around that. So you get a neighborhood buy-in.
Right.
You get the involvement of the public and the support, which will go a long way.
Now, speaking of neighborhoods, we recently, a couple months ago, applied for a community development block grant. Can you talk to the public about where we are in that process?
Yes, we did apply. I believe it was back in March of this year. We hope to hear word in August favorably that we would get funded. But we did apply for monies to go in and help homeowners do some rehabilitation on their houses. Stuff that may have gotten neglected over the years for whatever reason, loss of income, or just family situations that may impact people. We want to be able to go in and help those families, use public money to do that. There will be stipulations added. You have to meet certain income requirements, which are federal guidelines and not set by the city of Douglasville. And then you have to live in the home for a certain period of time, or you have to repay that money back.
Okay.
But if you can focus those efforts along with the other ones that the GIC would be doing, or the city's focusing their redevelopment efforts on, you will be able to see kind of the big picture and how things come together. So hopefully we're keeping our fingers crossed on that for August.
Very good. Now, kind of the last little component of your department to a certain degree, conference center and tourism. And I know I've been on this show or part of City TV on several occasions talking about conference center and tourism. I know the conference center is in its third year. We're doing pretty well. Talk to us a little bit about the year ahead for that department, and then looking forward for tourism, some of the goals that you look to accomplish there.
Well, just with the conference center, I actually got the numbers recently, and you can kind of see the upswing. People are starting to realize, hey, Douglasville has a conference center.
Right.
It's a very nice conference center. It's large enough to hold, a small to medium-sized conference. You're not going to obviously be able to hold Delta.
Correct.
For example, here, but you can get other venues here. Everything is working. They're during the summer, you try to get something at the conference center, or during the holiday season, it's not gonna happen. It's already booked.
Yeah,
it's very popular for family reunions, weddings. Just about everything. We have our own catering system in there. Their food is always good. Their reviews are tremendous. So we have to commend the conference center on working on that. But we want to make sure that keeps growing. We don't want to become complacent. We want to make sure that we keep that moving forward. And tourism has actually partnered with the conference center. They're a package deal now.
Right.
We want to promote Douglasville as an attractive place, which it is. We have several things to offer. We have a public golf course. We have our conference center. Right now, unfortunately, we are lacking a downtown lodging establishment, that is one of our goals, is to implement a study to see if that would be feasible to start marketing and see if we can get one of those downtown.
Yeah, and before you wrap up on that subject, just kind of touch for the public, because I think that there is an idea, if you build it, they will come. Just on the steps that it actually requires to get a lodge. I mean, and there are some cities that have, somebody had a dream and they built and that came. But that's typically not the traditional path of development of a lodging establishment.
It's not, especially for a community the size of Douglasville.
Yeah.
I'm sure people think of downtown hotels. Oh, Savannah's great. They have a bunch of them.
Right.
Athens has a bunch of them. But Douglasville does not have that built-in attractiveness, for, hey, we're a college town, or hey, we're on the river, we're on the coast.
Right.
We have to make sure that when we start looking at this, that the lodging nights, that we have enough people that can fill this hotel up. We want to market it to certain hotel brands. You want a brand to come downtown that represents what Douglasville is going after. You need to have the land. Sorry, I need to go back to that's number one. If you don't have anywhere for them to build it, there's nothing to go.
So you just can't put it in the middle of Church Street and then.
No, our police department may have trouble with the traffic control on that one.
Well, we built a building in the middle of the street. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Do you know which one it is?
I'm hoping it's not City Hall.
No.
Okay, then.
It's actually Fire Station 10.
Is it? Okay.
It's built on Prey Street.
Well, you learn something new all the time. Now that I think about it, that makes sense. But no, and then that's what we want to do. That's what we're looking at doing the study, being able to provide a company. Here are our numbers. Here's what we've done in the last 3 years, and here's what we're looking to do. But we are missing out on conferences because we don't have. We have the conference center, but nobody wants to stay. Although at I-20 may only be 2 miles down the road, they don't want to have to drive that 2 miles to downtown to go to their conference. They want to be able to go from one to the other, which is our downtown already has that built in terms of where to go to eat, where to go to shop.
Right.
But we don't have anywhere for you to stay.
Yeah.
And
but we are working on it.
We are actively working on it. That is a big priority. And if the numbers work, then we're going to do a full push to recruit a hotel down here.
That's great. Well, before we wrap up, you've had a number of years of experience all over the place in community development.
Right.
So I will say, if you had to talk to the public about community and development services as a department and your philosophy and what you hope to apply to that department to be a benefit to our citizen base.
Well, what I've learned, the easy way and the hard way sometimes, is with community development services, you are with the public. That is, everything that we do somehow down the line is going to impact the public. We need to make sure that we are taking that into account. Whether it's building permits, whether it's planning and zoning, whether it's tourism and Main Street, everything has to do with the public. We need to be engaged and understand what we may see on paper as staff. We need to make sure the citizens see that same thing. Or if they have a difference of opinion, we need to get that worked out. We need to have them involved. And at the same time, with this department, the Community and Development Services Department, there are so many variables that can go into place. That you have internal engagements that need to happen as well to make sure that everybody's on the same page. But I think moving forward, it's just getting that consistency down, that people know that, hey, you come into this office and you can get everything done. You have all your answers, and we even have a conference center if you need to stay a while.
Good. That's great. Well, Jonathan, I appreciate it, and I appreciate it from the standpoint that I too employ the philosophy, and I saw that in you when we talked about you coming on board, is that this department, probably more so outside of maybe the police department, impacts the public and specifically their quality of life. And when you're impacting a person's quality of life from a community activity to the house they may live in, that's an important process of local government, and we always want to seek to have someone on board that values that and understands the importance of that. So I appreciate having you on board. I welcome you for 60 days, and hopefully we'll follow up next year around this time.
Hopefully I'll be back on several times. Yes.
Definitely. So again, thank you for joining me. Thank you for watching in this episode of Legislative Post, and we will see you next time.